Hello, everyone. I'm Gary,
I'm John.
and we're Two
Two
Bros
Bros
Doing
Doing
Shows. Coming to you on our Saturday edition for NXT TakeOver Canada. Now, this, in my opinion, was a great pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was really impressive. All the matches were just back and forth all the way through the pay-per-view. It was really great with a lot of interesting finishes.
Yeah, and there was no interference. So, in my opinion, it was a 10. Anyway, getting on to the first match that we wanted to talk about, which was also the main event of the evening, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Samoa Joe. Now, to start out with, this match was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, Shinsuke busted open Joe's, I believe it was his right eye. And
No, it was his left.
okay, well, whichever one it was very visible, and it was bleeding pretty hard. I mean, that dude needs to reel it back on the kicks,
Yeah.
man. That was not a 10.
But speaking of, so the intro of the match with Shinsuke and Joe. Now Shinsuke came out, forced to about one violinist, and then a bunch of others came out, and
Now,
wasn't really sure about how many violinists.
first it started out with like 1, then we noticed about 5, then it went to about 7, and then, I don't know, the rest were like, I don't know, 10? But seriously,
10.
the crowd was singing Shinsuke's theme song almost throughout the whole match. I mean, and that is not a joke, people. I mean, if I have to hear whoa, it may be too soon, because this guy is so popular right now, and rightfully so. So, after putting on a match like that, I mean, the opening did feel like it dragged on a little bit, but the match ended with Joe doing a muscle buster to become the first ever 2-time NXT champ. Now that's huge.
Yeah, it is.
Because I think NXT has been around now for about 5 years, and there has never been a 2-time NXT champ. Ever. And seeing as this was Joe's rematch from all the way back when he lost it, way back in Brooklyn, back during SummerSlam, weekend, this is, pretty big.
Yeah, a lot of build-up since Brooklyn with that match, and just a lot of mind games from Shinsuke as well.
Yeah, and a lot of beat downs from Joe. I mean, he tried to put Shinsuke out of commission, and then Shinsuke just decided to say to that, and just...
Well, Joe was acting like a dog with a bone. I mean...
and Shinsuke was just acting like a rabid dog, so I get the feeling that these two may not yet be done with each other, but I'm sensing the feeling that Shinsuke's headed out when this year is done. Would you agree on that one?
I definitely feel like Shinsuke is gonna move up soon. I mean, he's already been around there for a while, and a lot of people that he faced back a while ago have already moved on. I mean, you have freaking AJ Styles, Sami Zayn,
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor, although he's still out injured. So I think it's about time that Shinsuke move up to the main roster. Honestly, I know that we were discussing this a bit earlier and we disagreed about this. Personally, I think he should go to Raw.
And I honestly believe he should go to SmackDown. Raw has so much main card talent that you could throw a parade for it. They just don't know how to use it. SmackDown, on the other hand, has a bunch of talent that when the show first started after the draft, everybody was like, why the hell did you draft these people? And now they're all big name talent. I don't see where you can even talk about this. I think the reason, maybe there is a realistic reason why guys like Sami Zayn and Cesaro want to be on SmackDown. Maybe that shoot interview that they did with Cesaro was for real. To be fair to Shinsuke, I think it would be better to go to a land of opportunity than a land where you're going to be regulated and stuck in a spot.
I don't know. I personally disagree. I really think that...
Did you really see him fighting for the Universal title? Like, really? You think he's going to get put above somebody like Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins or even the big favorites right now, the two best friends, Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho? I don't see that happening.
I do. I mean...
I could totally see him in a feud with AJ Styles or Dean Ambrose or...
Well, I mean, I guess in that case, I can kind of agree with you. I think that with your... Because I agree with your statement that Raw doesn't know how to use the talent that it has right now. But I think that's more for the reason that they, I think, got greedy, and so the people that they have would work better on SmackDown. But I mean, in that case, then I think it would be better for Finn Balor to end up on SmackDown then.
Well, supposedly there's going to be trades and such coming.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that started after Survivor Series.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that started after the Rumble or WrestleMania. But regardless, wherever Shinsuke ends up, he's going to be a 10. So, anyway, the next match that we wanted to talk about was Asuka versus Mickie James. I think Mickie James should be applauded for this match.
Oh, there was no question about that. She did an amazing job keeping up with Asuka, although I really, this was a really like a quicker match than I expected from Mickie.
No, I don't feel like it was a quicker match than you expected.
Well,
I mean,
okay,
women don't get a lot of time.
Let me rephrase that. She moved a lot faster than I expected.
Okay.
It was a more fast-paced match than I expected.
Yeah, because she's older, yet she looks like she's in great shape.
She was pulling moves that, like, a lot of male wrestlers pull off with, like, all the flips and shit that she's doing.
And she totally reminded me of vintage Mickie. I'm going to be honest. The fact that she gave Asuka a run for her money. I mean, Asuka, the woman that looks like a color wheel threw up on her, she also did awesome as well. I mean, I disliked the way they ended the match.
Yeah, it felt really quick for what it was. Because it's like the moment she put on that whole Mickie tapped out.
Yeah, and it almost felt like the referee was telling him, okay, finish it up. And yeah, I mean, I get it. It's only a 2-hour pay-per-view kind of thing. You only have so much time. But I think those two should be commended for everything that they did for that pay-per-view. And if WWE has half a brain and Mickey is willing to go into NXT, take her.
Oh yeah, she would definitely bring some. Well, I'm not gonna say fresh new talent because she's not new, but I mean she's still got moves a lot better than. I mean, you got name recognition there too, and just.
Yeah, you know what else was moving, obviously, was the crowd, because every time she got thrown out of the ring and the referee was trying to do a count, it was 10, 10, 10. It was ridiculous, because every time that she got thrown out of the ring, it didn't matter what count it was 10 from the crowd. I mean, that got to be cute at first, but really annoying by the middle of the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Anyway, another match, and this match opened the pay-per-view, and it was, in my opinion, it was good, and I loved the way they set it up. It was Bobby Roode versus Ty Dillinger, and they had a great choral setup for Bobby Roode and his opening. I mean, I'd want that on my phone as a ringtone, because that is an awesome opening, in my opinion.
That was dope. That was a dope opening.
Yeah, and Ty Dillinger, I don't know what the deal is with that Doctor Doom jacket that he loves to wear, because that thing is crazy looking, but you know, I guess if it makes you more eccentric and makes you feel like you're in your zone of comfort before you go into a ring,
it's
more
than
power
that.
to
I
you.
mean, he like, because on the back of that he has
the number
a plaque.
10 on it.
Well, no, it's not just the number 10. It's a freaking plaque. He has a number 10 plaque on his back, on his Doctor Doom jacket. That like, did he get that from like a judge?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'd like to know.
But the fact
the Olympics is calling, it wants its 10 back.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think there could be a little bit better costume design for this guy, but wrestling wise,
amazing.
It was an amazing match. I think that Bobby Roode and Ty Dillinger did an excellent job. And I think that those two, I don't think they're done. I think those two are going to be duking it out through the end of the year at least, until they have their next big, takeover pay-per-view in January. So that's probably where they'll end their feud, if it's not at WrestleMania. Eventually, what ended the match was Bobby Roode did his signature DDT onto Ty Dillinger and got the 1-2-3. But there was a lot of back and forth in this match.
It was crazy aggressive.
It was by no means dominated by either person. I think there were several times where like Bobby Roode was begging and then
and Ty Dillinger took offense to that, thinking he was putting up the 10 sign, and so he put his hands on the mat and just stepped on him.
Yeah, and it was a lot of back and forth. Like at the beginning of the match, there was a big stare down too, which made that match even more exciting.
Yeah.
And I just feel like the match, it's hard to describe it.
But I got to give it to Bobby Roode. he didn't keep trying to run after that first time.
Yeah, I think the running was more. I'm gonna make myself look more like an asshole and a heel.
Yeah.
And then build it up for the pay-per-view, which that's a brilliant mindset, creative mindset to have when you've been in the business as long as a guy like Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
So, and a guy like Ty Dillinger, who's technically been doing this for 10 plus years.
Yeah, and as they showed in the video package, he was in WWE before, but he was mostly part of the WCW brand. I mean, the ECW brand. Sorry.
ECW. There was no WCW.
Yeah, no, I know, but I mean...
that was not a 10. Yeah.
So, anyways, ECW. He was part of the ECW brand. He lost all of his matches, and then he was released. And so, guys like that, they go out into the world, they go into the indies, they build themselves up, and then they try again.
And, this is one of those times he did lose, but the whole crowd, after he lost, was just screaming, 10, 10, 10.
You can win a friend.
Which apparently they didn't stop screaming at that point. But Ty Dillinger, he got up and he walked out really slowly.
He looked very dejected.
Yeah. And I again, he'll be back. He ain't going anywhere, folks.
Well, yeah.
Now, the next one we wanted to talk about, which was the finale of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament, was the Authors of Pain,
otherwise known as the fucking Cheetos,
and TM61. Now, TM61 before this tournament, I really didn't think that much of, because I hadn't seen that much of them. And then the Authors of Pain were the ones I'd picked at the very beginning to win.
Well, yeah.
And I said the only people that would take them out at all would be Hideo Itami and Kota Ibushi. But then Hideo Itami got hurt again. And then Kota Ibushi got eliminated. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to be Authors of Pain. Granted, TM61 definitely put up a fight.
They put up a hell of a match. When, what was his name? Thorne?
First of all, before we say anything else, I do want to say that Paul Ellering was put into a shark cage and suspended, 10, 12 feet above the ring?
I thought it was 8 feet.
For whatever.
But yeah, the thing is that he was suspended above the ring, which I think was ridiculous. The cage looked like it could have snapped at any time.
Yeah.
Which I honestly thought that the match was going to be stopped because he would fall out of the cage, or the cage would fall through the ring or some shit like that. It would have been hilarious and would have been awkward, but it would have made for a hell of a pay-per-view moment. That's just me.
Anyway, TM61, the way it started was Shane Thorne. He did a suicide dive about 8 feet or so in the air onto both of the Authors of Pain.
And slightly onto his own tag team partner.
Yeah. Knocking them successfully all down. Now, that is my holy shit moment of the whole pay-per-view, because a guy like that, who's really basically a noob I wouldn't say the industry, but in WWE, that's willing to take that kind of a chance, is definitely someone that you want to make a talent for your company. TM61, as I said, I didn't think much of them. Now I think a lot more of them.
Yeah,
And,
they weren't just speed. They put out a lot of strength too, especially when they lifted that one dude. I forget which one of them, but they did like a tag team move where they both lifted him up and slammed one of the Authors of Pain down.
Yeah, with their finisher. And and to be able to pick up a Nick Miller body slammed one of the Authors of Pain by himself. That's 300 pounds with no help. And that is a lot of fucking weight. So I'm going to be honest. These guys do have talent. I mean, the Aussies got some talent. So, I think a dingo took their baby this time around because
Authors of Pain
ended up being the
cheaters.
winner.
Yeah, but during that match, what was the name?
Paul Ellering dropped a chain. And then
as one of the Authors of Pain went to go use it, his arm was kicked, the chain went flying, and
into the audience.
And a lucky fan left home with a signed chain.
Yeah, well, we don't know if it was actually signed, but
but I mean, come on. You get a chain from the Authors of Pain, you go get it signed. And then you sell it on eBay.
Yeah, very funny. Yeah, I'm sure that's everybody's strategy. Me, I'd have kept the damn thing.
Oh, yeah, well, so would I, but I'm just saying.
But, I mean, personally, yeah, that is a crazy thing to have happen, especially with the direction and the velocity that thing was going. That could have ended
up. Lucky there was no kids right there. Like,
right?
Oh, hey, look what's flying towards me.
Yeah, that could have been ugly. Ugly. So, but as we said, the Authors of Pain are this year's
Dusty
Rhodes Tag Team Championship Classic winners. I think these guys will be future NXT champions. No doubt about it.
Oh yeah, they're definitely gonna be tag title contenders.
And I think that TM61 and Authors of Pain. I mean, everybody that made it into the Dusty Road, the Final Four, are tag team championship, material.
Yeah.
Sanity, DIY. Authors of Pain and TM61. Those are going to be your new tag teams to watch in NXT. Because those guys, I say 3 probably go to Raw and 1 goes to SmackDown because SmackDown is overloaded with tag teams right now. And Raw doesn't have enough.
Yeah, they have 6?
Somewhere in that vicinity.
Well, it's definitely not 10.
And, it's 6. And unfortunately, one of them is Golden Truth, which, in my opinion, doesn't count. So, anyway, one of the final match that we would like to talk about was... And this one was definitely our match of the night.
Yeah, it was DIY versus the Revival. An amazing amount of effort by both teams in a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Yeah, I mean, this match right here took 40 minutes out of a 2-hour pay-per-view. So they almost gave this match half the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So it was, first of all, the Revival had the first pin from a shatter machine. that ended up happening from a missed spear from Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, he tried to do a spear from the middle rope.
Yeah, it was the middle of the rope.
So he tried to do a slingshot spear, caught in midair, and then got crashed.
And then both of the members of the Dash and Dawson put him into a shatter machine.
Yeah.
And that in itself was just one of the first great things that happened. Then you had the first pin from DIY, which ended up being because of their super kick running knee combo.
Yeah.
Now, there was a lot that happened between the shatter machine and the super kick running knee, because there was a lot of Monty Python, I run in the ring, I run out of the ring type of...
And then because of that, the Revival got... what's the word for it? Got an advantage because they were able to isolate DIY.
Well, they were able to isolate Johnny Gargano for a large portion of the match. Yeah. And then Tommaso Ciampa, when he finally got in, he whooped some ass.
Yeah.
And that was when the tides started to turn, you know. DIY started looking like less of a 6 and more of a 10.
Yeah. And so during that match, I really got to give it up to Gargano for not tapping out. That because he was about to. He was gonna tap out, but then he's like, "No, can't do it. Have to reach the ropes."
Well, I have to be honest. The spots in that match were great. The where they chose to do them, how they did it. I think that, well, I mean, obviously he wasn't going to tap because they knew going into the match that they were going to win the championships, but they, you know...
But still, it was a good...
Everyone was looking forward to this match, especially with them, you know, wimping out during the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, saying, "Oh, I have a torn Achilles and an MCL, and I had to walk 15 miles to get here." And an extra 10 because my car would... No.
Okay, Grandpa.
But still, that's the way the Revival really looked on that day, where they just gave up to DIY. I mean, come on. Everybody was looking forward to that match, and as soon as that happened, we all knew what was going to happen at NXT Canada.
Yeah, you can't weasel your way out of every match.
Exactly. And with this one being 2 out of 3 falls, we get to the third fall, which ended up being a double tap out from one doing a crossface and the other doing a chicken wing. And I believe it was Johnny Gargano doing a crossface, and then Tommaso Ciampa was doing the chicken wing.
Something like that.
And it ended up... you know, they got them to both tap at the same time. That looked really good.
Yeah.
What was that, John?
Well, I was just going to say that is the only proper way to have ended this match. Had it ended any other way, I don't think I would have been as satisfied.
Well, I think I would have been as satisfied, but
the only other way I would have been satisfied is if both of DIY had a hold on the same guy.
Well, I would have been satisfied as long as DIY won. Obviously, the Revival, they're 2-time tag team champs. They're the first ones in NXT to achieve that feat. Now they've lost the title. They do have a right to a rematch because they have that rematch clause. And, we're going to see that play out, whether that's on NXT or at another takeover. We don't know. But the fact of the matter is that for now, DIY is the tag champs. And they are going to prove that they're the tag champs.
They definitely look like they're going to be fighting champions.
Yeah.
Which is always something better, It's always good to see people like that instead of someone who just talks a lot and does jack all.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to see the club take the streak away from the New Day. I want it to be the Revival because I think that would be a 10. But, this pay-per-view overall was a 10.
Okay, I wouldn't say that. Let's not go overboard.
Yeah, in all seriousness, it was a good pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was a good pay-per-view. I think the only really, weird thing in that was the tap out by Mickie James.
Yeah, that was an awkward tap out. That was basically my only beef with the whole pay-per-view, even though... And one of the great things about NXT... You do not see a lot of unclean wins.
Yeah.
I mean, even if the heels win, they win legit. Bobby Roode won legit. Samoa Joe won legit.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone on this list won legit. So I can't wait to see.
Well, the Authors of Pain barely won legit.
Well, they still never got a chance to use that chain, so you can't really say that that was an unlegit win because the damn thing went into the crowd. Okay. That you didn't see them, dragging their fat asses into the crowd and being like, "Can I have my chain back, bitches?" No, that didn't happen. So I think this was a great pay-per-view. I'd probably realistically rate it a 7 or an 8 in terms of NXT. I don't think there was. I think it was a bit disappointing not to see Shinsuke win, but it was also very satisfying to see that Joe is getting respected.
Yeah.
To see that DIY is getting respected. I have to be honest, I'm a little disappointed Mickie James didn't win. I would have rather have seen her win and break Asuka's streak, but that's just me.
I'm sorry, there's one other thing that I have to talk about before it leaves my mind.
What?
And that is when Bobby Roode won, he waited for his music to pick up with the whole glorious thing to have his hand be raised to the ref. That was, in my opinion, that perfect timing right there. Ugh, gold. I love it. Do more of that, please.
Yeah, I think it makes him look like a douche.
I know, it was awesome. It was perfect. He had the opportunity and he took it. He's like, wait. Let it just, okay, now raise my hand. Glorious.
Yeah. Well, I think if anybody's gonna get to have their hand raised like that, I guess it would be Bobby Roode.
Best music in NXT besides Shinsuke. Just saying.
Well, yeah, because people are going to be singing that and Glorious for the next year.
Those two songs, I think, were the only songs that people actually sang out loud in the crowd.
Yeah, pretty much. It's either Glorious,
yeah,
'cause I won't give in, or Whoa.
I just gotta say, whenever I hear that music, I half expect people to start doing the chop.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why. I
gosh.
guess because it kind of sounds the same, but I don't know.
No, I don't know, but for whatever reason, I think those people in Canada definitely were drunk. So
Yeah, every count was 10.
10, 10, 10. So for this show, hopefully it was a 10. I'm Gary,
I'm John.
and Top Guys
Uh,
out.
or taken out.